empty homes or vacant homes with no furniture. I don't think that 98% of the people have no imagination whether a certain room size will hold a king-size bed or will it hold a sectional. So imagination, most buyers don't have. So you're going to have to make sure your home amplifies exactly what you want, and it showcases exactly the room sizes without having too much. Sometimes we have to step in as a professional. Been in the business quite a long time, more so than I'd want to admit. I said now I've been in real estate longer than I've been alive, and it depends on my Facebook how old I am. But anyway, that's another story. The point is, when you go into a home, and I have to tell them, because I do have a lot of staging background, here's what we're going to have to do to showcase your home as a model. We're going to have to get rid of this, and I start pointing at furniture. We're going to have to take these pictures down, and I explain why, because like you said, Sam, people don't like to think in terms of they're intruding on someone else. You start seeing family pictures, and you start seeing all these collectibles, and you're thinking, oh, this is their home. It's not my house. So you have to make it like a house, not a home.
And I think one thing, and it might be a transition for the whole conversation as to marketing and advertising, one of the chief things that you're going to need to sell the home will be good pictures of the home, because people maybe aren't driving by homes and taking for sale by owner flyers as much as they used to. So that being said, you have to have good pictures of the home. Now, a good picture of a home might not include the dog lying next to the couch or the picture of the family picture on the wall. And so, especially from a photo, if you're not even in the home, it would definitely be hard to picture yourself in a house where there's a dog and dog hair everywhere, and there's family pictures, and there's a kid, cooking in the kitchen or whatever. So as we maybe transition into the marketing and the online aspect of trying to sell your home, pictures are going to be really important. So it's important to have a home that's able to be photographed.
So if you're not good with you have to be careful about the cell phones, because a lot of people think, oh, just take a picture. But by the time you get that up online or whatever, it's not going to be the same as having maybe professional come out and take photos. That is a very good point, Sam, about taking the photos.
A couple of comments on that. There are a number of real estate agents who use professional photographers, and this is the reason why. And it's certainly for the higher end homes, especially, not to discount the lower end homes, but it's often well worth the few dollars. Professional photographers do not charge very much for several dozen home pictures, and they know how to stage it and make the picture look good. Another important thing, though, again, Sam, you bring up the marketing, and that is really the next phase. So we've talked about preparing yourself, getting the valuation, getting the repairs done that you might want to get done, how to show the property. I guess we skipped the marketing step for a moment because we're talking about showing the property a little bit. But ultimately, in order to get people to look at your home, you have to market it. And again, that is the primary function of a real estate agent, is to market the home, to put it on the multiple listing service and all the many portal services such as Zillow and Trulia, et cetera, and even using Facebook marketing and Twitter marketing and all the different things, Sam, that you could probably speak to better than I can. But with regard to the pictures, I do want to point out a safety issue. It's very important when taking pictures of your home that you don't include in those pictures any types of personal information. I have seen pictures online where there will be personal, a bill on the desk or something, and with high-end digital cameras these days, you can zoom in and all of a sudden I'm getting some personal information because you were sloppy in taking your pictures. So it might sound like common sense, but clean the place up and make sure your pictures don't reveal personal, private information that you're putting out there on the internet.
And, even in our MLS service, when I'm going through looking at homes, I'm usually shocked that real estate agents are even taking pictures with clothes on top of beds and dirty dishes and really things. I think, can you just take 15 minutes and move everything from this counter to that counter, and at least get a shot of that counter, move it all back and get the other counter. If you have to move everything around in the house to get a clean shot, at least do that. And of course, toilet seats down. That's all I'm going to say about it. Toilet seats down for a good shot. But the point is, you're going to want to make get your flash on, get some great photos, because that's going to be speaking for you since you don't have another marketing source. So good photos. You're very good on that, Sam. Also, you were addressing about the digital, and right now the younger generation it's all digital. In fact, I see a big difference on that. Let's talk a little bit about digital and the advantages and disadvantages of how it used to be in real estate.
Right. Well, I think now, especially as my generation becomes the generation who are buying their first homes and buying their second homes, a lot of the way that these homes are being sold and being found by buyers is through the internet and is online. Like I said, people aren't necessarily just driving around anymore and picking up flyers and, oh, that looks nice, let me call the realtor. It's, I'm going to go online, I'm going to search these, these free websites like a Zillow or a Trulia, and I'm going to try and find a home for myself. Now, one of the misconceptions with that is it's very difficult to get a feel about a neighborhood from a picture of a house. So obviously you have to visit a home, but the first step before even calling to set up a showing is to just see what kind of home you're looking for and to make one of these searches. So it's so important, especially as a seller, to have an online presence, be it on these websites like Zillow and Trulia, if you're using a realtor through the MLS, and then also on Facebook and on Instagram and social media platforms, because people will come across these on these social media platforms, and that's how they're looking for homes.
Exactly. And one thing that I just thought of when you were talking, Jonathan, before about photographing and making sure you don't have a bill or something on a table is probably minors in a picture, because they're so, if you're showing a little 4 or 5-year-old and now you're showing that on Facebook, and you have to be careful about all of that too.
People should not be in house pictures. I mean, you're right. That's a very good point with the minors, but in general, you're trying to sell your house, unless, of course, you're trying to sell your kid. But under the assumption that that's not the case, people should not be in the pictures. You want pictures, as Sam had pointed out and you'd pointed out, you're trying to sell your house so it becomes somebody else's home. And that was a great way to put it, because you're not selling your home. It's not going to be your home anymore.
That's the hardest thing when I'm sitting with someone, is telling them how to not just declutter, but depersonalize their home as well, because you have to be so careful. There's people out there that are not animal lovers, and your home could be spick and span, doesn't smell of any animals, but the fact that you have an animal there can turn off your buyers, because they don't want to be in a house with animals. Or even, and you have to be so careful about your political and any other kinds of advertisement or anything that might turn off half of your buyers. So, you take down your Obama and your Trump and anything else that might be a poster, because that could turn off people buying that house. People they buy emotionally, especially a home. And when they go in and they see a black bedroom because their teenager has decided they're gothic or something, and they've got that just as a turnoff. So you want to make sure that you pull down everything that might be offensive to someone else.
Right, there was two things I wanted to discuss as time. It's amazing how quickly these shows go. I do want to get into the buyer representation, because we're talking about for sale by owner, and that's really where the seller is trying to sell their home without the use of a real estate agent. Well, buyers out there, one of the interesting but nice parts of our real estate system is a buyer can usually retain a real estate agent at no charge, because the seller is paying a commission for the sale of the home, and the buyer kind of gets a free ride on that. They can get a real estate agent to show them around and look at different houses and help them buy the home, and it typically doesn't cost the buyer anything, because the seller is paying a real estate commission of which that buyer's agent gets a piece. However, when you're dealing with for sale by owners, the buy owner, the seller will have to make a decision. Do they want to work with real estate agents? Because there will be time when real estate agents will say, look, I have a buyer for your home. I saw your home in some of these internet sites, or I happened to be driving by the neighborhood and saw the sign and recognized that that'd be a nice home for my buyer. But am I going to bring my buyer to your house if I'm not going to get my commission for doing so? So there's two comments here. One, the for sale by owner seller should decide in advance if and what and how much they're willing to pay if a realtor does bring a successful buyer to the table. And again, typically it would be based on a purchase price. And of course, if they can't get you the price you want, then you're not required to sell the property. But the other thought for buyers who are listening out there is a class of realtors. Well, all realtors are capable of doing it, but a class of realtors who represent buyers. And the typical way that works is you agree to pay your agent a fee for finding a home if they don't collect a fee from another source. And that enables your agent to expand the search. So instead of just searching for multiple listed properties where they know they're going to get a commission, they can search for sale by owner properties and such. And then again, the agent will reach out to the seller and say, I have a buyer, will you pay me? But if the seller says no, the buyer may be willing to pay the agent. And again, we've discussed a lot of the function a real estate agent performs. One of the things in my head that Sam, you and I had discussed offline, but I'll bring online now, has to do with neighborhoods. So you talked about nice pictures, and I happen to be a decent photographer, I think, so I take nice pictures of a home. So you look online and you see the houses I'm saying, wow, that looks great, that looks good. And if any of you check out my pictures and disagree, I'm not offended. But you don't know the neighborhood it's in.
Exactly.
And that's what a local real estate agent, we tend to specialize locally. While we can handle the entire state of Florida, if you ask me about a property in Pasco County, while legally able to sell it to you, I couldn't tell you too much about Pasco County.
Exactly. Well, that's another important point is that Sam Lack, which is John Lack's son, they all sound alike, I know, on the radio, but there's a difference here. Is if you're opening your home up to buyers, and we touched on this on the last show, you want to make sure that you know who you're inviting into your home, because a lot of times people are only contacting for sale by owners because perhaps they can't get a loan another way, and they're thinking, I'll get this for sale by owner interested, I'll let them think that I'm a buyer and then see if they'll hold money. So if that's not in your agenda, that you want to hold money, you want to be the bank, you want to finance your own home, then you have to be careful about who you're inviting in. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that are shopping to see what's in your home, because if you're going to just let me in, and they tell you, don't even let utility people in unless you see a badge. But when you're selling your home, somehow it feels comfortable just to let anybody come in your house. So you don't know if they're what they used to say, casing the joint, from the old movies. You don't know who's walking through there. And unfortunately, I've noticed a lot of sellers disclose too much. I'd have a buyer with me, and they might say, oh, you have a security system. And the seller goes, oh, yeah, but it doesn't work. And I can't show you my house tomorrow because I work all day until 6 o'clock. Well, now, if I was just a person walking into that house to see it, I know you don't have a security system and you're not going to be around. So you don't, again, know, you have to be careful what you say. But back to what you were saying, Sam, about digitally.
Right. I think it's important, even aside from just the digital side of it, because that has become so increasingly important, and real estate agents today understand that. I think the breadth of services that real estate agents can provide is sometimes overlooked from, everything we've talked about, from the walking through in the beginning and arranging for an appraisal or arranging for an inspection or setting up staging and a photographer, and the variety of different services that a real estate agent provides sometimes might be overlooked by someone who's looking to sell by owner.
And maybe they just don't realize all the services. Right. That could be possible too. So again, knowing, we do have a book that you might be interested in. It's called Extra Equity. And you can get that from just going on our website, and you can request it, and it's a free booklet. It's about 51 pages, all about buying and selling a home, everything you need to know about closing costs, different things. That might be your first step. You can get that information at www.yourhometownsolutions.com. There it has everything you need to know. Boy, the show went fast, and we still didn't cover everything we wanted to, so we'll have to revisit for sale by owners on another show. Thank you again, Jonathan, for joining me, and Sam Lack. Thanks for coming on. We're going to have you on again. You'll be our additional co-host. I'll have two co-hosts. So, again, give out our information on Waterview Realty.
All right. Waterview Realty can assist you and the best way to reach us is through the website, waterviewre.com, as in Waterview Real Estate, waterviewre.com, or at 321-252-9566.